What comes tomorrow is a question that is going to rattle everybody, and it rattled me 10 years back. It rattled me exactly, I would say, more than 7 years back. And let me tell you what I thought of what would be my tomorrow sitting about in 2010. I was very clear that I wanted to do something that's going to put India on the map. I was very clear. I didn't want to do something out of just the normal thing. I wanted to do something out of the ordinary. I didn't want to do under Me Too kind of stuff. I said, let me see what I need to do for tomorrow. But I was very clear. Whatever I do, it has to be at a scale that is going to put India on a map, or on an exporter's map, or on a manufacturer's map, or on a global map that India has never done before. That was my first primary objective of what comes tomorrow. That was the first. And then what I did was I wanted to combine my aspirations with the country's aspirations, because I truly believe in the India success story. I truly believe that you are in a country that is capable of coming up with amazing success. And that's when I thought I should somehow try to combine my own aspirations with the country's aspirations and literally look at something of my aspirations. And then I decided it has to be India and self, not self and India. Because when you have a purpose, success will follow. And when you have a purpose, money will follow. When you follow money, you will not have the other two. So I'll cover that later in the topic. I want to talk about enterprise because that's what my background is. I'm not a bureaucrat, I'm not a technocrat, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. I do business. So for me, it's all about in enterprises. While I build enterprises, I also have to focus on what I need to do in terms of transformation of my existing enterprise. I also have to worry about how am I going to, the word I'm trying to say is metamorphosis. How do I transform my existing business by literally killing it, by literally changing the life form, without killing it and creating a new business. That's exactly what I thought would be my tomorrow 7 years back. I had an existing business, I had an existing enterprise, I had a well-set business, I had a well-set, comfortable, cushy life that I could have just put my feet up and sat. But I said, no, that's not enough. My tomorrow can't just be the same that I'm doing now. So, for me, it was also a question of converting or changing or transforming the existing business, which was a typical trading organization, into a manufacturer. Just to put it in perspective, I'm going to repeat that. My tomorrow was about how do I transform myself from a trader to a manufacturer. That was a question that baffled me. And let me be very clear, my tomorrow is not about one day. If I was planning a business, if I was thinking of an enterprise, my enterprise has to see 20 years. It has to survive the next 10, 20 years. It's just not about a 3-year business plan or a 5-year business plan. I will elaborate as I go deeper into the conversation. So friends, when you talk about tomorrow, it's not about a day, it's not about 1 week, it's not about 1 year, it's not a 5-year P&L account, it's not a 5-year business plan that you're writing. You need to think really long. So, what if I told you that all the what ifs that I said, what if I create an organization which is actually going to do something for India? What if I'm able to do transformation of my company from trading into manufacturing? All the what ifs. What if I told you that in 2017 today, 60 to 70% of the what ifs are true? Whatever I wrote down as what ifs in 2010, today I think I have done most of it. I think I can say I would have covered about 60-70% of it as true. It has happened. I'm still not doing starball gazing. I'm still talking about reality that I have achieved in the past 7 years. I think, let me talk about the topic, what comes tomorrow, towards a greener tomorrow. I don't think in 2017 there's a debate. I don't think there's a debate at all about green or going about sustainability, about doing something correctly, doing something the right way. I don't think students, people across the board, the government, you have the bureaucracy. I don't think the debate exists. There is no debate, I'm saying, that tomorrow is all about going green, about sustainability, about building enterprises that is going to be sustainable, going to take care of environment, going to take care about, you name it. I don't think you can talk anything today which is illegal. So how can you even consider a question that tomorrow should it be green? It's like saying tomorrow should I be tax compliant? I mean, all of you are in engineering or must be doing some kind of business plan. Can you ever write a business plan today which is not legally compliant or which does not take care of taxation? Can you even think about it? Will your teacher ever tell you, or will your professor ever tell you, come on, go ahead, do it, it's okay. So please, it's not about the thought process, it has to become your DNA. Unfortunately, what has happened is in our country, we think about green is not equal to development. And we are a country of 60-65% below the age of 30-35 years old. We are the youngest country in the world. Don't we have it in us to change that rhetoric? Isn't it each one of your responsibility to see that you change that rhetoric? That you change that statement and say that yes, we can do it from green is equal to development. Is it not possible? I can tell you it's possible. I have done it. Even I probably thought a few years back at what is green, what is development, how can you have development without, harming a little bit of environment? All those questions do probably. But I can tell you that if you think about it, if you actually do things properly, there is a provision, there is a way for you to actually have development without, actually you can do development, keeping green, going green, being sustainable. You can think about the local ecosystem. So the problem is when we think of green, we think about development on one side of the coin and we think green and sustainability on the other side of the coin. It's not the same side of the coin. I think it's time for us to change that. I'm going to talk about something that's for each one of you. I'm sure each one of you have a choice or a path before you. Either you can become a job provider or a job seeker. Either you can be building your $1 million enterprises or you could be dreaming of working for a $1 million enterprise. Is there any other thought process in this room today? I don't think so. You could either be part of a $1 billion enterprise working for it, or you could be building your own $1 billion enterprises going out into the market tomorrow. So when I say nota, this is not the electoral nota I'm talking about. I know this is not a platform for making political speeches, but I'm talking about none of the above. Each one of you have the option today before you to say that I will not choose A, B, C, D. I will choose my own path. That's what I refer to as nota. None of the above. I'm not going to choose any of this that I've got through as campus recruitment or campus placement. I'm going to do something on my own. I want to do something that I think I can do better. Did our parents have that option? Most of our parents, most of our generation or contemporary generation, the first job they joined, they retired from that job. They believed in loyalty. They believed in sense of purpose working for a single organization, pretty much the Japanese way. You know that once he joins a company, the company becomes his family, and he or she literally retires from that company. Things have changed. Today, if your CV says you have worked in a company for 5 years, it looks bad. Yesterday that was not the case, today that's the case. Earlier people were talking about loyalty. Today company has to think about stock options, think about incentives, talk about growth with purpose. Let's grow together. Those are the kind of terminologies. Earlier attrition was never a balance sheet item. A company never spoke about attrition. It was never a key indicator. Today attrition in an industry, they say 13% attrition in this industry is actually okay. See how things have changed. From loyalty where one person works in one company to actually attrition becoming a key performance indicator of a company. It could be good, it could be bad, but that's tomorrow. People have embraced it, whether you like it or not. Talk about tomorrow. I think when when we talk about tomorrow, we say that we should start taking steps for tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. It's like saying today I'm going to cheat, I'm going to eat what I want, my diet starts from tomorrow. That doesn't happen in tomorrow. Tomorrow starts now. Because you can't undo the moment that just passed. I can't undo the words I just said, I can only undo the words I'm going to say. Same way I think you cannot undo what is going to happen. You can do what is going to happen from today onwards. So my tomorrow starts from today. It doesn't start from tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Your preparation for tomorrow starts now. This is one of my favorite topics, so I can go on about this topic. Silver spoon. I'm sure everybody has heard this terminology called being born with a silver spoon. Rather, I'll complete it by saying being born with a silver spoon in his mouth. How many of you have heard of it? How many of you think I am born with a silver spoon in his mouth? Thank you. Because I'm going to prove you just wrong for that. Being born with a silver spoon particularly references when you were born in a family that had the wealth, that had purpose, that had background, and they could go and accomplish anything because money was a sheer buying factor there. There was nothing else involved. If you look at that, you could say that in India there were many people born with a silver spoon. But let me take a different perspective. I had the fortune of being part of an organization called the Young Indians, and I was actually heading the Indian organization for the G20. This was in Moscow and in Mexico. So there's a report that comes out, and as the G20, which is the head of nations that happens, there's also the youth of the country that they meet every year under the umbrella of G20. The youth actually prepares a communique and gives it to their government, who in turn tables it at the G20. Can you believe that 78% of the G20 countries, or the youth in 78% of the youth in those 20 countries actually think access to finance is a major issue? Let me rephrase that. 78% of the G20 countries' youth think that access to finance is the biggest issue or the impediment in their success. So if MEC says that I can't raise money tomorrow, it's just not an MEC issue or MEC Kakinada issue, it's a Tokyo issue, it's an Argentina issue, it's a Mexico issue, it's a Moscow issue, it's an Australia issue. So where is this issue about silver spoon being born, access to finance is there? Everybody is having the same problem. But did anybody in the 20 countries say that, did they say that I have a problem in getting information? Nobody said that I have a difficulty in getting information. I have difficulty in getting knowledge. No. Hence, I'd like to change the silver spoon theory and say that each one of you have a silver spoon in your mouth. Because you have access to information. You have access to knowledge. You are on the same back foot as the 78% of the youth throughout the world, or at least in the G20 countries, as far as finance is concerned. Whereas for you, the finance becomes the first stumbling block in your thought process when you want to do something. Please remove that. Now coming back to the silver spoon, somebody said I'm born with a silver spoon. Let me say, my father is a botanist. He was a government clerk. My mother is a 10th standard student. My father chucked his government job and became a watch repairer and a photographer. My grandfather was a watch repairer and he used to work in the temple. My other grandfather is a government servant working for the Kerala government in Trivandrum. I will admit that I was born with a silver spoon, but not in my mouth, somewhere on my backside. Because whatever business that was built over the past 30, 40 years, 50 years by my father and by me is the biggest baggage that one can carry. When I refer to the silver spoon, when I refer to the weight on the silver spoon, I am referring to the baggage, I am referring to the expectations people have when you are part of a large business. Larger the business, larger the expectations, Larger the expectations, larger the baggage, larger the baggage, larger the fall that you're definitely going to have. So while I was born with a silver spoon, but let me tell you friends, that silver spoon was never in my mouth. I was always reminded that you have a baggage that you're carrying. So what did I do? What can I do? I have a huge baggage. I have a tomorrow that I want to achieve. How do I go about it? I said the only way I can go about it is think, not just think out of the box. Literally get out of the box. Everybody says, please think out of the box. Don't do another Me Too kind of idea. I went one step ahead and said, let me get out of the box. As per the silver spoon theory, I need not get out of the box. I could put my feet up and just get comfortable. See, around that time, there's a lot of self-doubt that happens in you. As my name suggests, my name is Srikant. So everybody thought that this bugger is not going to do anything. He can't do much because they kind of, when you join a business, I joined my business when I was 20 years back. It was a 30-year-old business. At some stage, you think that you are much smarter than your father. At some stage, you start thinking that you have the knowledge, you have the education, and you think you can do wonders. But then at some point in time, you fall down and you get hurt, and then you realize that you have made blunders. So I've been through the entire gamut of making blunders, shutting businesses down, starting new businesses, making a complete ass of myself certain times. But at every stage, it was a huge learning because at every business that I started, I learned. I was able to learn. So talking about Srikant, and then I had to make sure that I can literally say I can do it. That was the first thing I did. And one aspect that really helped me there was when I was talking to Mr. Raghavan earlier was about my running. I started running. Not running away from my problem, but running as a sport. That really helped me transform myself from Srikant to Srikant. Because on day one, I couldn't run even 100 meters. So what does it teach you? What does running teach you? Or what does any sport teach you? What I'm trying to communicate to you is do something that pushes your physical boundary. Do something that pushes your mental boundary. It's not the fall that hurts. It's when you hit the ground. Trust me, it's not the fall that hurts. It's when you hit the ground. That hurts you more. So my dear friends, get hit as much as possible, but don't fall to the ground. And even if you do fall to the ground, get up because there is a better tomorrow. Thank you very much.